out of that chair and do some exercises that can help strengthen your core, release your hips, low back, while also strengthening them, working on balance to help you hold that more neutral posture while you have to be sitting. So come on up, you can follow along with me, and once you know these exercises, you can work them in as many times a day or just pick your favorites in any order that you want. But let's get started. So we're gonna start with a standing cat-cow, and we're gonna do two different breathing patterns with this. And the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale. When we pull up, drop our head, neck, and shoulders, we're inhaling to expand the back. And then we're gonna exhale, belly button pulls up. We lift up through the crown of our head. Going for length here. It's not all about pulling your head backwards. Good. Inhale, round. Drop the head, neck, and shoulders. All this is nice and loose. And then exhale, lift through here. We're going from length from our hips all the way up to the head. Think length, not necessarily height. Pull those shoulders back. Good. Inhale one more time like this. And then exhale. Now we're going to hold this and we're going to reverse that breathing. So inhale here. I like exhaling here because then you can really squeeze those abdominals. Imagine pulling your hip bones together. Inhale, release your belly, lift. And keeping your shoulders down and back. Good. Exhale. Inhale, release the belly. Reach. Expand your chest. That was really good for the shoulder interpretation last time. So we'll have taken 6 good breaths here. 3 each way. Inhale through here. Good. All right, now go ahead and stand all the way back up. We're just gonna draw some hip circles. So tucking that pelvis. Imagine you've got a tail. You tuck your tail as it's coming forward this way. Shifting that weight from foot to foot. A little dance party, if you got music on, that'd be great. Good, now go the other way. So flicking the tail up and tucking it under as you come. So ideally you're drawing a circle. I feel like my circle has some points, and that's okay. Start small before you go big. We really want to work on just lengthening. Good, now stay in the center. We're going to tuck and flare, if you want to call that. Tuck and flare. So pull this up. So you should feel squeezing together all through here. Your butt might be squeezing a little bit. That's okay. Keep your toes, big toe, little toe, heel down. You can tell my hips are tight today. Are very tight today. Ooh, so get that, we're trying to get that length through here. So standing up nice and tall. They're called pelvic tucks. Yes, okay. Next, we're gonna do a little bit of a balance. And so lean up against a wall if you can, or hold onto something. If you're up against a wall, again, you can be focused on that upper body posture too. So what we are going to do is we are gonna exhale, squeeze, and lift, thinking as tall as possible to bring this foot up. And this is not my good side. Lift and hold for 3, 2, 1, slowly lower down. That control says a lot, right? Lift and hold other side. And down. So you can have your hands here, you could be holding onto something, but we want to try to have that upright posture and really feel the muscles in our deep core working to lift. Now, ideally, you're gonna get your knee all the way up to 90 degrees. You're gonna be able to hold it flexed. That may not be your starting point. It's not always my starting point. To feel really balanced, I'm about here today. Start where you are, right? Start where you are. There's no shame, but we want to do about 5 each side. And so again, there's a way to do this where you're slouching. Be upright. Think like a dancer. Think tall. Get a couple more. Again, big toe, little toe, heel. They call that the foot tripod. Is on the floor. Don't roll to the outside of your ankle. Have one leg that likes to roll. Switch. Last one. So you could make this harder if you had resistance bands, or you could hold your hands up, you could hold your hands out, you could hold a weight, you could do it not against the wall. But again, just make sure you should actually feel like the outsides of your glutes kicking on to help you. All right, so with those things in mind, we just mentioned outside the glutes. So you can hold on to something to balance. Again, we're doing that dancer posture, upright. Hips are in neutral, so they're not like this. This means your hips are tight, which mine today are. Think upright. So find, just like in the chair, find that neutral spot where you feel these muscles kick on. We're gonna lift for 1, down, 2, 3. Lift for 1, down, 2, 3. Lift for 1, again, upright, upright. Try not to do this. Down, 2, 3. 2 more. Tripod on the foot. Down, 2, 3. up. You could use the back of your chair. You could use your desk. Switch legs. Lift. We can't lift as high that side. Lift. Down, 2, 3. Lift. Down, 2, 3. Good. And the reason we have so much balance is because that deep core, the lower abdominal muscles especially, have to work. And we don't usually spend a lot of time balancing anymore as adults. Not done yet. All right. Grab your back of your chair or a wall. Either way, we've got our donkey kick. So you're going to hinge forward, pull up that belly button. It should be scooped up, but your back should be pretty flat. We're just going to kick back and in. Kick back and in. If that is too hard, keep it low. You could even slide your foot back and forth on the floor if you need to. But you should feel the glute on your standing leg as well as the glute that you are kicking back. And switch. So we're lengthening our hips through here, and then it comes in. It's all about getting that movement, pumping that blood, while focusing on strength on our lower trunk. I feel like I'm gripping this bookshelf for dear life. Good. Next one we're going to try is a balance one. Calf raises, right? Now, if you do these at the gym with weights already, you can skip this. But for the most part, I realize I don't walk on my toes very often, and it's gotten quite hard. So if you can't take your shoes off and they aren't already, I would take them off for this one. We're wanting to think, again, dancer posture, tall, scooch up as high as you can hold, and lower down, 2, 3. It's that descent, that controlled descent, just like with our leg out to the side, that's tricky. And yes, this is training your calf muscles, but as you can see, I'm falling over. It is also working on ankle, which if you're sitting, your foot and ankle are not getting exercise, so they get weaker because they're not being used. But our core and our glutes, they're all the ones that are going to be stabilizing. You also might feel your quads here, which quads, they're not working when they're sitting either. So lower leg strengthening with a simple calf raise. Don't overlook this muscle group. Don't overlook this simple exercise, thinking it's only training your calf and you don't want bigger calves. I don't, but it's working a lot more than just your calves. Which is why I avoided it for so long. Control down. Good. Again, dancer, 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 dancer. Good. Last thing we can do is reach up and over to really just lengthen through here, stretch. It's not so much about how far can you bend, it's how great of an arc could you make this, right? It's not about being slouchy. It's about lengthening, increasing that distance between your ribs and your hips. When we're sitting, so much it's like this, and that can, if these muscles back here get tight, then they're going to pull us back into this position versus allowing us to stay in this position. Good, sir. Also, don't forget, keep going with this. We do this in the upper body one too, but it's really important. Good, one more each side. So that being said too, if you need to also do your shoulder and your neck exercises, that's your friendly reminder to go back to that video, the second video, take a peek at that, but work in those exercises as often as you can. You can probably do some of them sitting, those hip rocks, hip rolls, and most importantly, the pelvic tucks. And if some days that you find like this is so tight, you can't get any movement, I would highly recommend foam rolling your quads as well as doing some quad and hip stretching. So this would be a great one to do. You could also get a little bit more hip extension in it. This is gonna work. Using your chair, ideally if it doesn't roll. But this is hip extension where it's not straight down, it's going backwards. Lengthen through here so you could squeeze your glute a little bit and that'll help it release. As well as reaching up, you can even bend this to get a little deeper into it. And don't rush your stretching. 30 seconds can seem like it's taking forever, but that's really what those cells and those muscles need to fully relax. So do 30 seconds. If you can do it 3 times, that would be great, but I'll take 1. 1 is better than none. So I'm finding that really helps. If you find that your hips and quads, like I said, are really tight, you may even want to start there and then try to go into some of these just to help you move a little bit better. So all this is designed to help make it easier, more comfortable for you to get moving. You don't want your sitting posture to derail everything else. Sometimes it's that linchpin that just makes it harder to do anything else. But consider standing options, fidgeting options as much as possible so you're not stuck in a seated position. Our bodies like to move and it's use it or lose it. The more you move, the more you move.